From Wakefield, it's the IC Meme Show starring Nolduck, inviting you to join Nolduck and his guests this week, returning back to the show, Ashton Grenon and Trevor Dalton. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Nolduck.
And welcome back for an edition of the IC Meme Show with yours truly, Nolduck. I'm so glad that you can make the time to join us this week for another fun-filled episode. Returning on the show are two guests, two friends of mine returning back, Mr. Trevor Dalton and Ashton Grenon. Before we get into the monologue and the rest of the show, I'd like to give you a little update of sorts on the show. I have invested in a better green screen. You can't really see because it's just the background looks like a recording studio, but it's a one where it pulls down and you latch together. It's an expensive one. It was like over $150, maybe $200, and I got two lights in the background. Two big lights in the background that really bright out. As you can see, my face is really pasty. Unfortunately, I thought they could switch it like a little thing I have for these ones on my desk where you could switch the dial. I couldn't explain it. I couldn't think of what it was. So it's just naturally just really white and bright, just like outside. So they turn off all the lights and really dim these down so it looks like those aren't doing that much of damage. I gotta look up, and I also, as I was just about to say, got a new camera, so I really have to let's bring this in. I really have to pay attention to the camera and not look down at the screen like this because it doesn't help. But yeah, I got a new camera. I got two better lights and I got a better green screen because the other one did a fine job. It wasn't what I expected though, and I couldn't do a good job hanging it up, so it was really like crooked and like uneven on that side. So when I moved the camera or the screen or computer, I should say laptop, it was really showing that. Anyways, but that's all that. Hopefully it helps the development of the show and brings it up to a greater frequency of viewers, because it's been slow the last few weeks, and although I'm doing a fine job, it has been slow, so hopefully this helps bring in more people saying, oh, it looks better, although you can't really tell with this, and the lighting's not that great, but that's another day. Anyways, we got a great episode for you this week. Ashton Grenon and Trevor Dalton are back on. I gotta look at the camera. We had a great episode for you this week. Trevor Dalton and Ashton are back on the show. If you like what you're watching and listening to on whatever platform, audio or visual platform you're viewing on, do us a huge favor by sharing this week's episode on your preferred podcast streaming services. Give us a subscribe, follow, like, and stay with us. We'll be right back with the rest of the show. And welcome back to the program. And now it's the time that you've all been waiting for. It's a little segment I like to call What Happened This Past Week with Nolan. At the beginning of the ISD Meme Show news cycle, we head straight to the theater world of Broadway, as they announced the first few shows starting out for their cycle when they return September 14th. It was made official that both Hamilton, Wicked, and The Lion King will be the first three shows when Broadway returns full-time in September. Most people celebrate Christmas on December 25th. For gay people, women, and old rich people, they'll be celebrating Christmas on September 14th this year. After all the tourists leave the warm cities and towns. And some weird news, it was made official that CFB analyst and former minor league baseball star Tim Tebow will be making his long-awaited return to football, except this time it won't be at quarterback. For this time, it will be tight end, as Tim Tebow signed a one-year deal with the Jaguars earlier this past week. Unfortunately, for those who can actually play, both former and current Jaguar players are frustrated seeing as though this is one of the many more embarrassing head-scratching things for the team. Never mind, it being Jacksonville and that, they suck. Some more sports news. Eastern Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has been cleared to enter the Preakness despite his failed drug test recently. Humans suck when not even a horse can pass a simple drug test after using some simple fungal cream. Some more happier sports news. This past weekend is the 2021 NBA Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony, with headliners being Tim Duncan, Kevin Big Ticket Garnett, and the late great Kobe Bean Bryant. Hopefully, Vanessa Bryant can stay calm and poised, not sue someone for just talking about her husband that night. In some new polling, it's being reported that President Biden is currently polling at a favorable approval rating of 63%, with 37% not approving him. If life couldn't be any worse for McCarthy, Graham, McConnell, and company, now they have to worry about not getting, quote, accidentally shot, quote, by former VP Dick Cheney after the party of dumbasses votes to remove Liz Cheney from a post of chair of Republican conference. Speaking about staying disguised in a red jacket and miniskirt, Representative Liz Cheney will be replaced at some point this week as House Republican Conference chair by recent extreme Trump loyalist Elise Stefanik. Cheney is known as being very vocal of the former guy in the last few months, which basically set our fate in stone in terms of the QAnon party going forward. Your party is more twisted than a recovering drug addict saying if he's relapsed and left alone, and this Cheney can't save you, you know you're fucked worse than a victim of Bill Cosby. Boom. And if you enjoyed the last joke so much, because I'm sure you did, I got another one just for you. Kentucky Congressman Rand Paul got into yet another verbal fisticuff with Dr. Anthony Fauci this past week. This time it was at a report. It was about a reported event having to do with supposed funding going to the Wuhan Institute with COVID. Was found. Although where it started, I should say. It's sad when an 80-year-old man has more of a backbone in saying something to Val Crean in a few minutes than the majority party of the U.S. Has after dealing with EJT and company for the last 5 years. And some other less important and cared about sports news. Oakland A's are reportedly starting the process of looking for other cities to host their team after recent plans for moving to a new stadium are potentially going to be stalled. Their team that has been relevant since they wrote a book that was about a guy Brad Pitt played in a movie with a fat Jonah Hill. This is less news than Newsmax covering a story about Biden picking a dandelion for his wife. Some less important news, Taylor Swift has received the Global Icon Award at the Brit Awards, being the first woman and first non-English artist to take on the prize. Quote, prize. Funny, I forgot that this is less important to Americans than white triggered women canceling a successful white man without any current evidence. Good for Swift though, as now she's able to get an international crowd of middle schoolers and mothers to swear by songs about millions of breakups. So funny, it's sad news. According to a new book released titled Zero Fail, The Rise and Fall of the Secret Service by Washington Post reporter Carol Leonard, it's being reported that members of the Trump family had relationships with family security detail. It's being reported from the book that DJT's dimwitted and drug addict son Don Jr.'s ex-wife Vanessa started a relationship with an agent before divorcing Trump Jr. It's also being reported that Kevin McAllister, without the toughness, herself, Tiffany Trump, reportedly had affairs with a member of their family Secret Service detail. Props to Vanessa for stepping up after having a drunk and cooked up walrus with fish hair impregnate her a bunch of times. But for Tiffany to do that and still get less attention from her dad than vegetables being touched, it's pretty sad. Then again, her father thought Tim Cook's last name was Apple. Called her Kim McAllister because you never know where she is. She's always lost. It's been reported that Cristiano Ronaldo skipped Juventus training and went to Ferrari's factory to buy a fucking $2 million supercar on Monday, just a day after the club's humiliating defeat to rival AC Milan. Don't you love it when the super rich just say fucking buy an over expensive car to ease the pain like a fat person eating ice cream with depression? And some comical type of news, if you find humans who act like robots, Chef Bezos was in the news, and not for his yacht needing a yacht, but for another story. This time, he was in the news for an incident involving Bezos having so much frustration with Alexa's lack of intelligence, they told Alexa to, quote, shoot herself. Apparently, Amazon's engineers heard it and operated faster than a bunch of semi-popular kids replying generic motivation messages to a fat, bullied girl on her social media post. And some entertainment type of news, if you would consider it that type of news, it's been reported that J-Lo, fresh off a breakup with A-Rod, has been found around the finger of everyone's favorite alcoholic Boston stereotype actor Ben Affleck. Clearly, her hips don't lie after she moves north of the border from a tame man to a man who's more white than 100 stack of 3x5 index cards. Finally, to fill out the Ice Team Show news cycle, NBA star Russell Westbrook now sits alone at the top as he recently broke Oscar Robertson's long-standing triple-double record. Even after beating this record, the Wizards are still bad and can't make the playoffs after an amazing season by Westbrook. His team catches about the same amount of Alice as Oakland A's do on a daily basis. That's what happened in the news this past week with Noel Dog. It seems as though, a lot of stuff has happened in the news. Say this is right back with the rest of our show, and our guests is Ashton Grenon and Trevor Dalton. And welcome back, everyone, to the program. With me, returning back to the show, two dear guests, two dear friends, brothers in arms, I guess, as they say in the military. My dear friends, Mr. Ashton Grenon and Trevor Dalton, thank you for making a grand return back to the program. I appreciate greatly.
Of course.
As we're getting into the summer season now, obviously, we go, me and you, Ashton, have had many of classes together, so we've been in contact the last year, and Trevor, from time to time, although you're a busy man with your soccer, now that you're moving up in the world, it's been a while since you both were on. It's been since January, early January since you were last on. So it's been 5 months. So what's been going on in your life since you last are both on the show?
Trevor, you want to go ahead? You want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. No, not too much right now. Just finished up finals and going back home to California Saturday, and then had soccer this spring. Yeah, same old with COVID.
Yeah.
Same stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, me and Old Dog had class together, so he kind of knows how I've been. But the semester's over. We're happy to be back for the summer,
Oh yeah,
and all vaccinated. I
yeah.
believe all of us are now.
Yeah, I got both. How about you, Trevor? Do you have both?
I got the second
Yeah,
today. Just got back
There you go.
second today. So
So how you feeling right now? Sore arm?
I'm good. I'm good right now. I'm expecting the sore arm to come and probably some symptoms, but I'm
Yeah.
doing well right now.
Well, I got Ashton was telling me, he was a little under the weather yesterday and a little today. He wasn't feeling. I got my second one yesterday. I've just had a sore arm. Nothing else. Granted, I don't think Miller Lights and the vaccine are a good combination, but here we are still surviving and thriving, knocking them back. No, my sister went yesterday, got her second. She had a little headache and was feeling under the weather. But hey, that's science and how the body works. Is you know now that you're whatever kinesiology or sports, whatever it was that you said you were gonna do, Trevor, or whatever.
Yeah, psychology.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it was, same bullshit thing that the people down south and parts of California, the red people that we don't talk about, don't believe in.
Exactly.
But it is what it is. But no, I'm glad that we're all vaccinated and we can all go back to our daily things, because I'm sure we definitely were out and about going wild and crazy pre COVID. I'm interesting that you mentioned soccer. How was that this year compared to when it first all went down?
It was decent. Obviously, with COVID, it was much different because usually we have like a 16, 15 game season. But this year, the way that we did it was we had like 3 or 4 out of conference games against teams that were nearby. We didn't go on a flight once, and we usually go on flights like 3 to 4 times throughout the season. So, but basically in conference, it was also much different. There was 3 groups that we got put into, and then the groups were just based off of the location of the teams. So we just played the teams that were close to us. Yeah. So it was much different than previous years.
You from freshman year riding the pine, as the sports people say, to then moving it up slowly and surely up the ladder. I mean, what's that been like? I mean, obviously playing at a college compared to the high school is much different, and it takes a lot of guts and accepting of what's happening to bid your time. But what's that been like, moving up now that you're having a bigger role?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely different from high school because I mean I didn't personally play for my high school. I played for a club team, an academy team, and for me personally, I was just always starting there, and then coming here and not starting and have to work my way up the ladder is definitely different. And yeah, but I think next year I'll definitely be full-time starter, and it's looking promising. So yeah, but it's a huge adjustment from high school. Like you just kind of go with the flow in high school, and you're always starting to now, like you really got to work hard and look after your body much more and mentally prepare, stuff like that. It's a much different level than it was.
Well, I'm sure you definitely have those feelings, wanting to maybe leave to maybe go play somewhere where you're going to be starting more, similar to a lot of these motherfuckers who played for the basketball team. They leave just because they're they get their what's in a bind. But it's definitely props are given to yourself for sticking through it. I'm sure it gives a great sense of pride though, to see people that you played with at URI so far, to making it to the professional level, and then getting a contract and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely good to see kids that you play with do well at the next level, because about how hard they work. Because obviously being on the team, you spend so much time together, so like their work ethic and what it's all about and the grind that it takes. So it's good to see kids going off to the professional leagues that I've been with.
Now, more towards Mr. Ashton on this one. We mentioned earlier, or you just mentioned a few minutes ago, how we had classes together. So it's these past many years, and this year was obviously different than any other year prior to obviously last year when COVID came out in the second semester. But it definitely was. Do you feel as though like this past year was closer to pre-COVID, or do you feel as though it's just the same day-to-day stuff?
So depends. So school wise, it's definitely COVID, but outside of that, we started going out more. We started seeing more people,
Yeah,
and we stopped. We just really, I took it all in as much as we
yeah,
could. The school part was always online, and I feel like online school is easy, and I
yeah,
feel like we're paying way too much money to have online school. Everyone can pass easily. They can look
yeah.
up stuff. I mean, I think it's a joke. That professor was a jackass. I hope he sees
Okay.
this. You
Peter
know exactly what
Axman.
I'm talking about, but
Yeah. No, which is kind of what I was alluding at, and you have this, and obviously the second semester of last year when this whole came about, was a learning adjustment for both the school and the professors and other instructors and students, ourselves and athletes, learning how to do this, and then now this year, into third semester, I should say, as I stutter my words like I'm on the Special Olympics team, trying to figure out, now getting back to a sense of normalcy while operating this, and it's sort of back to, no, I guess, because now we're all adjusted to this. And then you have people like fucking Peter Axman, Jason Jacks type of guy cosplaying him, and you have it just teaching it in the way that you're similar to Jax and Trevor, where it's like you have a guy coming from the professional world, no real educational teaching background, and you come to this fucking thing, you teach it, and you expect these kids to know exactly how to do it, exactly how you're thinking. I mean, it was giving me Vietnam flashbacks of Jax, editing his 40-minute videos and then getting it down to 2 minutes and having to cut it in exactly how it was. And it's like, I'm going to shoot myself here because this guy's insane. And you have Axman here who is like, oh, no, this is how you're doing it. It's got to be just like this because in a society, this is how you do it. And it was just ridiculous because then I'm sure Ashton can attest to this, that, you would do an assignment. There'd be half the time, there'd be no fucking directions on how to do it on the instructions section, where you would think there'd be instructions. Just how I would think would be. And then you do it, and then there's a fucking 5-paragraph essay on what you did wrong and how it wasn't like how he was thought. Now, Ashton, I would think that you're more lucky than myself when it comes to term to doing assignments. Now, what was your impression of Axman from the beginning and then progressing towards the end of the semester?
well, at the beginning, he seemed like a really cool dude. He was telling us how he worked with all these athletes and these pro teams, and it seemed like he had a great life, outside of teaching. But he clearly did not want to teach. He did not want to be there. He didn't give us directions, like you were saying. It started out, he gave us these huge projects that lasted throughout the whole semester. No instructions, just do it week by week and hope for the best, really, when you submitted it. That's all you had to do.
No, it's just it's sad. But there was, I forget what the assignment was, but it was something I was fuming about because I always fume about stuff that has no real significance in the grand scheme of things. And I just hope. I mean, I doubt he'll see it. I mean, maybe he'll see this. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be an episode where it blasts out and it gets a billion views. And I was fuming so much one day about some stupid thing he said, and I was like, "Fuck this!" So I drove to Providence and drove by where his house was, and found out where he lives. Looking back on it, not my brightest moment, but I was just, I was ready to go Tony Soprano on him. It's just, I don't get it. Listen, this is COVID. And so that gives us a lot of barriers to try to hurdle over to try to complete stuff in general. Then you have professors, people with educational, doctoral backgrounds and stuff like Monk's Guard or stuff like that. And they're teaching stuff. They might not be great with communication, but they can still teach you stuff. You learn something from a certain degree. Then you have people like Jax and Axman and all these people who have professional backgrounds who can't teach it to save their fucking life. And I don't get it. And to expect students like ourselves to do something exactly how they ask, it's impossible. Yeah, sure. If you have directions and you fail it and you fuck it up, which I've done many times, and I clearly make that present, then yeah, I can understand getting triggered, but I don't get it. And I don't know how people like him. So of course, me and myself, I go on to fucking rate my professor like a fucking sweat and type up some bad review, and I don't get it. And oh my gosh, that just was awful. On top of him having a fucking beard like he's fucking Amish down to his fucking kneecaps, like get a fucking razor, Jesus. I guess I don't like him. But then you have other people in the professional world, like our dear pal John Pantalone, who's been teaching obviously for a handful of years now, but still can make it entertaining and lowers expectations for certain people. It's just it's awful. Ash, would you ever take a class though with him again though if you had to?
Are we talking Pantalone or are we talking?
No, Axman.
Axman, no.
If you had the opportunity, Axman or Jax for another class.
It's tough. Probably Axman, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Jax was just brutal.
Yeah. It was kind of like, oh, well, here's a 40-minute video of shitty footage of me at a aquatic life sanctuary, and you got to cut it down to a minute and a half, and it better be like how I want it. If you can't, oh well, not my fault. This place closes at 6, and it's like, the fuck. And then it's like, oh well, you didn't do it. This. They both. I mean, right there, I was just channeling in our former pal and former classmate Hunter right there. That was rough. But without that being said, I want to go to this video section now. And prior episodes here in the ST Meme Show, for those who have never tuned in, or for these guests returning back, usually I go into YouTube and I play some videos that I think are a little out there, a little edgy, maybe racist, I don't know. And it usually goes by fine. We laugh and ask them for the reviews and so on and so forth. Anyways, most recently, my laptop, which I do this off of, doesn't have always the best of storage sometimes, so it lags and it only plays the audio. So when I'm playing a video of the Harvey Weinstein in the fucking Family Guy version, and he's talking to a minion, and you only hear the audio version, it contradicts the whole entire thing. So I downloaded some TikToks. One's out there, and I'm gonna play them off computer. So hopefully this works. Let's click share screen. Jeez, I can't speak. Let's do this. Let's click this. So come on, open it up, please. Let's go. And let's play this one. Come on. Here we go.
We got no sound on our end.
Of course I didn't. Of course I keep forgetting to let's try this again. Let's click share sound. Maybe clicking, the share sound section would be, great and beneficial. So let's click share, and then let's go back to here again.
So interesting fact about me is I never shaved myself. And right now, looks like I need to. So, let's try it out, shall we? How hard can it be? So apparently it's a lot harder than you think. Yeah, learn that the hard way. Here's a little tip. When you're shaving, just let your family members do it for you. Because you can really cut yourself, now can't you?
Okay, this guy's name is Haig the King. He's on TikTok. He's a kind of famous person from Australia. I give him credit for having the guts to do sticking to this comedic bit like this. I really love if you scroll back, he's really got a great Michael Strahan impression with his teeth. If you look,
so apparently it's a lot.
His bottom. If you can, let's go to the beginning. Yeah, see, you can see it right there.
Try it out, shall we?
You can see it right there. The really great Michael Strahan impression of it. I give him props for doing that. God bless him. On a cool guy scale, 1 to 10, where would you both rate him?
Give him an 8.
An 8?
Solid 8.
Okay, let's close
Very
this one.
generous. I give him a 6.
These are some better ones afterwards. Okay.
Michael Strahan got his
Yeah, I saw that, but I thought it was a prank. I felt like I saw
it was. It was April Fool's.
It was?
Yeah.
That's what I thought too, yeah.
Okay, here's another great one.
I went to Wendy's, so I gotta get a giant strawberry Sprite. Strawberry Sprite is amazing. I highly recommend it. I got the new bacon bourbon burger. We've got 2 half pieces of bacon, so I guess we've got 1 whole entire piece of bacon. Wow. Then we've got about 5 small onion strings on there, and like barely any sauce. Alright, let's try it. If you go online and look up a picture of it, like the advertisement picture, it looks like it's one of them really big loaded burgers with tons of stuff on it. And you get this and there's barely even anything on there. The sauce doesn't have a whole lot of flavor, it's just mostly sweet. The onions are nice and crispy and the bacon's really crispy. It's a decent burger. The stuff on it is pretty good. But I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars because I feel like the majority of the bites I take are a plain cheeseburger. Now, if the burger was like the one in the picture, this would have got a way better rating. Wendy's, you really needed to put more sauce, way more bacon, and a lot more onion strings on there. I just realized I got the sticker on it still. I went up what worked on earlier.
Yeah, Wendy's, come on, step it up. You're doing a shitty job. Oh my gosh, how could they do that? Psych, they always do that. But I really like the WrestleMania shirt she's got on. It really, I don't want to misgender her because it could be a man. You never know. In 2021, I really like the WrestleMania shirt that folds over. I like the pink mohawk. I like the double chin, the unibrow, and I really like her. I like her ability to really rate something like she's Anthony Bourdain or Guy Fieri with the burger. I also give her props to her editing skills. We all three of us have had some sort of background or work with editing and recording stuff. But I really like how instead of just, doing it entirely one video, she has to cut it up in several different sections. And my favorite thing, though, of her, not the shirt or the hair, the food or whatever it may be, is how she talks in like one entire sentence. There's no break and pausing in her breath. It's just burger. I'm on the cool guy scale, cool girl scale, I should say as well. Who knows? Where would you rate this person?
Give her a 7.
She's an 8. She's got everything going on. I like her appearance.
Favorite parts of the videos or the video?
I liked how she talked about how like the advertising is like so much different than the burger. That's what a lot of fast food places do.
Yeah, that is facts.
That's what happens all the time is they make it look so good in the commercial and then you go and it's like not even close.
It's like they're using cum for the mayonnaise and they're barely even cooking it. No, she's a real Barbara Walters or Diane Sawyer, Tom Brokaw here with their journalism expose here of how shitty the food is. Well, I think this person is very cool, and I like how she kept the blood works thing on there. Hopefully, her health is going well. Now, this next one, he'd fit in right with some of the TikTok, the cluck people at URI.
Hey guys, and especially to old mothers, I just wanted to do a little quick TikTok. I just want to wish you old mothers happy Mother's Day to all, and specifically to Priscilla because she's probably have kids of her own, and also Liz Marie. I just want to wish her happy Mother's Day. I just want to say happy Mother's Day to TikTok and to everyone in the Elves community. So happy Mother's Day.
Okay, so this guy, I don't know how old he is. I believe he's in high school. He likes to cosplay as Elvis on TikTok. That's his whole entire account. And if you can tell, he's got a really great hairline. In this videos, you can see to the back of his head. I give him credit for this. He can't sing a note to sing his life, though, but I give him credit. And I really like his message here. I mean, Mother's Day was this past Sunday, and I hope all your mothers both your mothers had a wonderful day. You guys did a lot for them. But I respect it's a kind message coming from someone like himself, a somewhat small-time celebrity on TikTok. A cool guy scale, though, for both of you. How would you rate him, 1 to 10?
Give him an 8. I love the hair. Love the hair.
Yeah, this is a genuine cool dude right here, probably.
Yeah. He tries his best to slick it. I mean, it's way thinner than my hair. But no, I give him props, and it's really great. I like the thing is you find a lot of people here on TikTok that do a lot of weird videos like this. Well, this one isn't really weird. You got a lot of people who are like this, and it's right over their face, or they're really zoomed in, or the audio is bad, and it's just really weird and it's sketchy. And this guy, he's got natural light coming in. He's doing a nice angle, and he's got a heartfelt message. His TikTok name is Elvis_TEI. So if you, I'm sure you both are humongous on TikTok. So if you feel like you want to watch more of his content, you can look it up there. This guy's one of my favorites, DJ Funnybone.
I'm DJ Funnybone, and this is my hoe. It's a little bit dirty, but it always gets the job done.
Ha! What a man. he pulled a joke right out from the 50s with that one. He's built like a Greek guy, as you can tell. I like the scenario. He's out and about. He's got a fresh lineup. He needs to get his lines done a little bit more at the URI barbershop. But props to him. I like his content. I don't follow him, but it's always in my feed. On the cool guy scale, where do you both rank him, boys?
I'll give him a 7.
A 7?
Give him an 8.
Well, why lower than the guy prior, Trevor?
The hair, to be honest.
The hair? What's wrong with the hair?
Well, there is none, but the slick back hair gave me.
Yeah.
Up the points for that guy. So
yeah, there you go. Okay, I don't know what this is. Let's pray it's not that bad. Oh, this. Oh, here we go.
Damn, bitch! You got a stupid fat ass! Whoa. Damn, bitch!
Santa Claus wanted a little love, and that's what it is. Hopefully that doesn't get me off of YouTube, but there's more over here. Oh, this is a great one.
Look around, everywhere you turn is heartache. It's everywhere that you go. Look around, you try everything you can to escape the pain of life that you know. Where all else fails and you long to be something better than you are today. I know a place where you can get away. It's called the dance floor. And here's what it's for. So come on.
Well, this is a mother-son duo on TikTok who likes to sing disco music, and their accounts Sil and Phil. Now, asking me, I don't know who's Sil, don't know who Phil. Sil could be Sylvia, it could be Sylvan, Phil could be Phil or Phyllis. So I don't know who's who exactly. I'm guessing Sil is the mother on the sitting down, and Phil is the son. Yes, a son. And what I like about them is, yes, they put a lot of effort and energy. It can really hit the high notes of these disco type songs, although Madonna's not disco. But I also really like their setting. They got a nice green screen behind them, but the key, the creme de la creme of this all is the green screen just thrown on the ground to make them seem like they're in some far land. On the cool guy scale for both of these two, Mr. Ashton and Trevor, where do you rank them?
give him a 7.
A
No,
7.
that's a 9. They killed that. They killed
it. Yeah. What I admire about it though is that they keep powering through, because you see that the lips singing isn't matching up with maybe the music. So I give him credit doing this consistently. To be honest, I feel as though the son cross dresses, which nothing wrong with that. You want to go into the closet and dress up in different clothes. That's great. But I give him credit for wearing this stuff, which I could never pull. Trevor,
no, yeah, the son carried that performance too.
Oh yeah, carried it. The mother dropped it, but I can never wear the style that the son's wearing. Trevor, I know, and Ashton, I guess, as well, known for the style. But I don't know if I could. Maybe you can, but that's just me. Now let's play. I think I got one more here. I just want to see. How many do I have? Let's do this real quick. See. Oh dear God, that's right. I forgot about all these. Okay, let's do this one first.
Yeah, I guess you could say I look a little worn.
Yeah, I guess you could say I'm a little worn. This is another lane on TikTok where you're like, what the fuck is this shit on here? What are they putting out here? And it's, you got this guy who's has seen a lot. I bet you his insides are really really missing. He seems like his body has seen a lot of wear and tear. A great video, definitely filled with so much content. A real badass guy sitting on a stoop. On the cool guy scale, Mr. Ashton Grenon and Trevor Dalton, where do you rank him?
I'll give him a 7 as well.
Yeah,
I like the voice.
He's a cool dude.
With a really deep voice down here. Come on, let's go. Let's do this right now.
Yeah, he's definitely He's definitely seen some shit in his life. So
He has seen lots of shit. I see him as the type of guy who definitely doesn't wear his mask in public. He seems like that guy's like, oh, I don't care. Come on, fight me. I'm not gonna get COVID. It's fake. Oh, come on. Oh yeah. But yeah, I don't know how I saw this, but I found this and I was like, oh, I gotta share this with the boys. Shit, where'd that go? Okay, let's go back here. Yeah, let's do this one. If you couldn't hear it, he was shitting his pants. He was farting very, very hard. The man has a body like a temple. He really likes to hang out by the ice cream bar at Butterfield Hall. His teeth could use a little work, but nonetheless aren't that bad. On the cool guy scale, 1 to 10, Mr. Ashton Grenon and Trevor Dalton, where do you rank him?
0.
0?
Yeah, I'd give him like a 2, maybe. He's got to work on the teeth.
God bless him. And the final one to play is this one.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for caring. I made you this snack. You want to take a lick?
Yeah, that might be even worse than the last one.
Yeah.
Why? What was wrong with this one?
There's just so much going on that shouldn't be going on.
I mean, I like his I don't know. The thing is, what I'm curious about is the facial hair looks real, but the powder puff Princess Leia raised buns on the side, is that real? I don't know, but God bless him for having that long hair, and I don't know what's going on his chest with those. I don't know if those. I think those are googly eyes. Maybe he's making. Now that looks like chocolate syrup. It also looks like barbecue sauce. Me personally, the way he looks, it looks like he is pouring it on something, a hog of sorts maybe. And that really threw me off when I saw it, but I thought it was funny because here you go, you get stuff like this that is able to pass through the people at TikTok. And I think on a cool guy scale, he's not that bad. A little interesting to say the least, but it was a pretty interesting thing. But my first try at these, and I think it was more successful than the YouTube, but that's enough of the video section. I enjoyed it, but without further ado, let's get to the third and final section of this, the personal section. Now, it seems as though, with anything else, there's a lot of stuff happening in sports recently in the last few weeks. And one thing that was pretty interesting was Tebow time himself, going from quarterback to tight end in the NFL comeback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I'm curious on what your take is, seeing as this guy hasn't played football probably since, 2013, 2014, maybe 2015. And then he played baseball, sucked at that. And you have other people who not getting drafted this year, other people who actually currently are playing that aren't getting signed. So what was it? What type of vibe or, what was going through your head thought-wise when you saw that Tim Tebow was coming back to the NFL? Was it worth it for him?
Stupid.
Yeah, I agree. Very stupid. First thing that came to my mind is that he's not young anymore.
Yeah.
He's pretty old. I think he's like 32, 33.
Mm-hmm.
And tight end's a very, physical position to play. And then I also saw other stuff that came out that said there was a lot of disagreements going on in the front office. Like some guys wanted to sign him, some guys didn't. When there's disagreements going on about signing someone, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but
Yeah, it's Urban Meyer. It's Urban Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to coach him. He's gonna try to make him Taysom Hill, which is just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's got this big fantasy with Tebow.
I don't get it. I mean, Tebow, what he was okay. He was good at Florida. Let's put that the other way. Then he got lucky in Denver, making it to the AFC Championship and beating Pittsburgh, who was good at that time, and up against the Patriots. It must have been. And the divisional round, then the championship he lost. Then he leaves. Okay, he kind of fizzled out. And then he goes to the minors. Kind of doesn't shit the bed, but isn't great. But God bless him for sticking with him, thinking he can be able to do it and have the confidence, and retires.
I think out of all these things, me personally, I'm not a humongous. I pay attention to sports degree, but not a diehard sports fan. But I thought he was very good as a CFB analyst on a college game day, stuff like that. Then he comes back to the NFL. Now, as I mentioned, here you have players getting drafted who aren't getting signed, who now have to try out. And then you have people like Tim Tebow who are washed up as hell, more than a crusty old dollar bill, and getting signed. And it's like, well, why are you doing, on top of it being Jacksonville sucking for so long before Blake Bortles got lucky that one year and Gardner Minshew and all that bullshit. Like, oh, come on, please. What are you doing here? Like, just stop. Like, you're not going to be able to convert him like Hill or Edelman when he was converted from QB to wide receiver. It's a waste of time, but that's Jacksonville, so fuck them. Another thing that's going to be happening in July, I believe it is, or June, another big fight that ruins the reputation and legitness of boxing. That's Jake Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. Now, I'd love to get your take on who do you think would win between both of them.
Well, it's a gimme. I mean, the Pauls are stupid. They're doing all this for money. I don't blame them. They're getting a shit ton of money from it. But Mayweather's going to kick his ass, and he's going to get so much money for it, and he'll just talk about it forever. And
yeah.
I totally agree. I think Floyd's just going to totally dominate,
Now,
there's no way that a 50-0 fighter is gonna lose.
Now, I'm curious. Now, what does this do for them though? I mean, obviously, they're popular on YouTube and whatever one it was that got really popular from making that vlog in a suicide forest in Japan. Let's say he loses, because he's been building this empire, his own empire for a while, the Pauls, and God bless him for that. But does this damage or ruin his rising social cred if he loses this fight?
I don't think so. I think he'll just play it was Floyd Mayweather card, and people will believe him. He'll get more fights, and I mean, Floyd's a lot different than Nate Robinson, so it's a good thing that he's actually fighting Floyd.
Definitely, and way different than Ben Askren, who was out of shape. I'm wondering though, if Jake Paul wins, let's say he wins somehow. I mean, granted, he's got a shot because he's younger and Floyd's older. He's not young anymore. He's not our age. Does this delegitimize the sport of boxing if Jake Paul beats him?
I don't really think so, just because of Floyd's age, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's another factor that people are talking about, is that Floyd's obviously much older now, but I don't think it really, discredits boxing at all. Like, if you look at if they were to fight someone like Canelo Alvarez or something like that, they would get absolutely rocked. I think the only reason why they're fighting Floyd is because he's older, so they think that maybe they'll have a chance against him. But so yeah.
No, if Paul wins, Floyd's getting paid billions, and it's rigged.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, I don't understand Floyd. 50-0, I would think, I mean, he has retired many times. But it's like, man, you got hundreds and hundreds, if not billions of dollars. He spends it like crazy. And you 50-0 undefeated, probably besides yourself and Rocky Marciano, probably the two, and Muhammad Ali, obviously, and Mike Tyson. But actually, that's one of the greatest boxers of all time, regardless of some of the fights he had near the end of his career. And I don't understand why you got to keep coming back and back for more and more. And it's like, I don't get it. Him and Pacquiao just keep coming back for fights, and it's like, why do you do this? It makes no sense. And I'm sure it's just for the money. But it's like, why do you do it? On top of Floyd Mayweather growing his hair out, which looks horrendous, mind you, he should have kept it shaved like DJ Funnybone. It was off. And then fucking Jake Paul fucking gets a tattoo of Floyd Mayweather's hat, and they stole up his hat. You have to be fucking psychotic and mentally challenged to do that. Nothing against those people, but what the fuck is your problem? I'll be interesting to see this fight. This will be definitely interesting, to say the least. Speaking of Tim Tebow playing former quarterback, Aaron Rodgers has created quite the sticky situation for himself, I would say, at least for the most part, with wanting to leave because he's upset and people wanting to keep him. Do you see three scenarios? Do you see him either coming back to Green Bay? Do you see him playing for another team, or just retiring and hosting Jeopardy permanently?
I think he's doing one more year. with Green Bay, and he either retires or gets traded because I mean after this year Devontae Adams is a free agent. He's definitely gone if Rodgers is gone. I mean the whole team will blow up if Rodgers leaves. So I think he gives it one more year, sticks it out.
Yeah, I mean overall I think it really shows a lot about Rodgers' character because, obviously this stems from Green Bay drafting another quarterback last year and he didn't appreciate that at all, but I mean, I was thinking about it like he went through the same exact process with Brett Favre.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah,
he was drafted. It's the same exact thing. Like, and Brett Favre was even younger too. He was probably like 33 when they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is 37 now. So like, I don't know why he has such a big deal with it. If he's playing at a top level quarterback like he is now, like he'll be fine. And
yeah.
If he tries to go somewhere else, I don't know if he'll be able to go anywhere else and really have a good chance at winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just right now they're such a good team and they lost to Tampa. And the big thing for me is that Tampa's defense that game was very good. They had 5 sacks.
Yeah.
And a part of that was because Bakhtiari was out, which is easily their best offensive lineman. So they're right there to a Super Bowl. So I don't know why he's being such a pussy about it.
It's also like you're getting paid millions of dollars by this franchise, publicly owned, mind you, and you're playing for a team that has invested all they can into you. Like you just said, a similar situation as Brett Favre, although Favre was probably younger. And yeah, drafting a quarterback definitely hurts your image, I guess, personally and professionally. But it's just like, and then you see Devontae Adams saying, "Oh yeah, if Rodgers leaving, there's no way I'm staying." It's like, why do you gotta dig a bigger hole than there already is? And it's like, just stay, play one more year, then retire. You're not gonna win a Super Bowl after that one he did win. There's not gonna be another opportunity. It's just the team doesn't have enough power or super players to against other teams, but that's the world of sports. Everyone gets upset and wants to leave and make a big deal about this. Now I know Trevor, you're out in California, so a Rams or whatever it is out there fan. Maybe you're a Patriots fan. I don't know. I know.
I'm a Pats fan. I'm a Pats fan.
Yeah. But I know Mr. As you can see in Mr. Ashton's room, he's got more Boston memorabilia than the TD Garden. But the Patriots, yes, there you go. Everywhere. But the Patriots drafted Mac Jones, who also is another 3-letter first name player similar to Tom Brady. Did you expect the team to draft him, and what do you think about him playing for this team?
I figured he was the one we were gonna get. I wanted Justin Fields, but I didn't think it was reasonable. And the Bears, it looked reasonable on draft night for a second, but the Bears made a move to get him, and I think that was the plan all along. Whoever was there at 15, I don't think they were going to trade, and they didn't trade. Or they were just going to take whatever quarterback was left. And I think of all of them, Mac has the lowest potential, but he is like decent right now. I just don't think he's going to get much better, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me and Ashton watched the draft together, and we were talking about it. Like at first, I was not a fan of the pick at all. But I did understand it after because Chicago traded up to get Justin Fields and they gave up a lot to trade up for him. So, I mean, probably the team that they traded up with, they probably were asking for a lot. And I bet you the Patriots were talking to them, but it was probably too much. So,
do you think he'll start right away over Newton, or do you think he'll eventually down the line maybe?
Down the line for sure. It's
down
definitely
the
Cam's
line.
team.
Yeah, this year, I don't think there's any chance. The Patriots play such a complex system. There's no way that he'll be starting over.
When before you joined Trevor, me and Ashton were talking about the Celtics before we started this show, and I mentioned how Jaylen Brown out. I forget exactly the injury. I believe it was knee or something.
Wrist.
Wrist or was for the rest of the season. What does that do for the rest for the team now after having such a rough year?
It's a huge loss, one, but two, it's just like it's really surprising that this team has so much talent and they're not doing so well. Part of that has to be coaching.
Get Kemba out of there. Rebuild.
Yeah, I agree.
Kemba was one of the worst signings. We're just good at that. You take Hayward, you take Walker. Terrible signings. Thompson's not doing shit.
Well, for me now, I'm not a Celtics fan. My team, the Rockets, did a horrible time this year, but they had a lot of shit that they have to get off. But we're not going to talk about them because that's a topic I don't.
No, they got some pieces. Kevin Porter. He's legit.
Yes. Oh no, don't get me wrong. Yes, but unfortunately, that didn't save him enough. Yes, Kevin Porter, Kelly Olynyk, who's playing better for the Rockets. And you have John Wall, who's older but is doing okay as best as he can. But that's a whole nother thing I don't want to get into. But you see the Celtics, and I think from the top of the organization, from Danny Ainge down to I don't know, the jockeys, or I don't know, Brad Stevens, they rely too much, and I think the fans do as well, too much on Tatum and Brown to try to hoist them into the right direction and try to win every single night. And I don't think they invest properly or try their best to make sure that talent that they also have on a team is, carrying the load and, taking some of the ease off the other players. And you see them, and they dump these huge fucking money contracts of a deal. Al Horford, a waste of a contract to a certain degree. Then you have Hayward getting injured and leaves, even though you thought he'd come back. And then you have Kemba, who is a decent player, had a rough time in Charlotte for a while, and then it hasn't really helped that much here. It's sad because they're so inconsistent. They win a few games in a row, then they lose one, then they get down in a hole, 20 points. You see that against San Antonio a few weeks ago. They were down by almost 30 at the half a few weeks ago, and then they come back and win by 4. It's like they play consistently because now this is where it matters, the playoffs, and now you find them in the play-in game. And it's like, you don't deserve to be there because the team is so prestigious, so talented, has so much talent, but they can't put 2 and 2 together. And I was saying to Ashton, Stevens, he should have left for Indiana. 7 years, $70 million to play for a college team. I mean, personally, I think it's a hard transition from coaching college to NBA. You see the coach for Michigan, who coached for the Cavaliers, and that shit the bed tremendously. And then he leaves. But I think when you have an NBA to college, it's a little easier coaching. That's just my opinion. I'm no professional though, but it's how it's happening. But they'll find their way out of this eventually. They'll find the same situation down the road. A team that has been surprising me this year, which I didn't even expect, is the Knicks. Now they just lost the other night, but they have the potential to make the playoffs. I mean, you both aren't from New York, but you're same New England region-ish.
Oh yeah, they're definitely in.
Yeah,
they're definitely in.
But how surprised were you that they've had this good of a season?
Pretty surprised. I'm not gonna say too surprised. They have some good pieces. Yeah. They were young, and Julius just really turned up this year. That's really what it came down to. But they have good pieces around him, and they play well.
Yeah.
Do you think this will subside for seasons to come, or do you feel as though this is just like a blip?
I don't think it's a fluke because they're so young too.
Yeah, this is more to come. Yeah.
But why do you think though because it took a decent chunk of time since they've last been this successful, to really showcase their talent?
I think it just depends on the guys. Is really if they're getting better or not. And Julius finally has his own team where he's like the star player, and he's really proven that he can be a star player for our team. How much
credit does this go to Tom Thibodeau? Because you see he struggled the last few years prior to coming to New York with other teams, but does more of the credit go towards Thibodeau as well, or is it just luck of the draw that they were able to have such a good team this year?
No, for sure. I mean, I think Thibodeau got dogged because the Timberwolves were one of the worst organizations in sports history. I mean, Thibodeau was amazing with the Bulls. He goes to the Timberwolves. They don't buy into his system. They don't play defense. They suck. He looks bad. But the Knicks are buying in, and now they look good. The Wolves Timberwolves. Oh, don't even get me started on
them. What this also brings up then is the Knicks and Madison Square Garden's owner, the biggest scumbag on the planet of the earth, James Dolan, who everyone hates. He's done nothing really for the team. But now you have this. Now you have the I almost said the Jets, the Knicks, having a great year, probably will make the playoffs, and now he's in this situation, which is an interesting one. Does this, I mean, he's never going to leave personally, but does this keep him around a little bit longer after, so many years people hating him?
I think you have to, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he's not going anywhere, but he
Right,
gets no
when-
credit for this at all. So
exactly. I totally agree. Yeah.
You know, I just for so many years people hated him and he was so awful and all that stuff. And then he has this, and now he's gonna stay around for a little longer. I mean, I don't know what Spike Lee thinks of that or Charles Oakley, but it is what it is. But no, got to give the team credit. But it's good to see that they haven't been this successful since, you know, when Carmelo was last on the team and they made the playoffs. It's good to see Obi Toppin from the A10 have somewhat successful year. Although personally, I think he should be starting. Not gonna lie. Now, I'll leave that part out. Trevor, you were from California. There's been a lot of news about California recently between COVID and Gavin Newsom and so on and so forth. But there's been a little shakeup in politics, and the former TV star, decathlon Olympian Caitlyn Jenner is putting her name into the ring to run for the Republican ticket for the recall election that will eventually be happening. As a college student who lives in California, now I don't know how much you pay attention to state government and stuff like that, but what's your whole take on this whole situation with her running for governor?
Well, when I first heard about it, I laughed. It's like I don't know why you would even do this, because she's already so successful. Like, why do you want to?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of this, you know? But yeah, when I first heard about it, I kind of just laughed and shrugged it off. But yeah.
Do you think she has a chance to, you know, not just win the Republican ticket, but the election in general?
I don't think so. I really don't.
I mean, you see, you know, the former guy who was president, he was a reality star and he won, but that's, you know, a different situation. I don't think she'll steal an election or ask a European country to help her hack the election. Which I'm sure gets all Republicans in California triggered. But it's really interesting because you have Caitlyn, and it's Caitlyn, baby. Yeah, I'm coming for you, Chloe. I don't know how you girls do it. And, you know, I don't get it. And, you know, why though? Like, the thing is, I think a lot of these people who do this, they don't have a real plan. And I don't know what her plan is. I mean, which is confusing in her sense, because here you are, a big time player in the LGBTQ community. And she doesn't support gay rights or gay marriage. And it's like, wait a minute, you're part of that group and you don't support it. So what's going on? I don't get it. She talks about how she loves the cops. Every time I see a cop on the side of the road, I say thank you. And it's just like, do you have a real thing, or are you just like everyone else and just says this stuff? I think personally, hey, look at if Dump Trump can win, then you never know. It'll be scary, and it's just it's interesting. But Newsom, he doesn't have, he has the following, but then again he has other people who hate him and they're trying their best. But it is what it is. But no, it's an interesting world out there. You know, I don't know about you, but it definitely, this last 14 months has definitely taught myself a lot about not just myself, but the community at large and what we're all about. And it's definitely been one hell of a ride. I don't know about you. What if we could go back, you know, the last 14 months, what have you learned from this whole entire thing and everything that's happened since then, both of you?
How shitty our country is, probably, just in general.
No, it's definitely, I mean, thank God, you know, we're not like, you know, no offense to the country of India and all, but, you know, they're fucked right now with COVID and stuff and all their cases and stuff. But U.S. is like a dysfunctional family. There's so much stuff going wrong with it, but somehow it all fits together like a puzzle. But I want to say with this, and I'll end with this, I want to thank you both for joining myself here for this show this week, episode number, what was it? Let's see, 9. Yeah, episode 9 here of the XT and Meme Show. I appreciate greatly more than words can express. And for the viewers out there, if you liked what you watched today on YouTube, then leave us a like, subscribe, follow, because, you know, Ashton and Trevor definitely want you to do that for this, you know, really make it big time, because when this show makes it big time, and I'll get to the rest of the promotional stuff, you know, they look like, hey man, I really enjoyed that episode, season 2, episode 9 with Ashton Grenon and Trevor Dalton, when they talked about all sorts of stuff, although it was kind of like a smorgasbord and all over the fucking place. It's really great. So YouTube, do me a favor, subscribe, like, follow, share. I'm not some big time celebrity. I'm not going to be like some of Trevor's former teammates who get signed to soccer contracts and have all this social media clout. So it's a slow progress. But if you do that for me, if you're listening to this and hopefully listen to the entire thing, not just 2 seconds of it, leave a like, follow, share, click the bell button. Because when you share it, that means not just you enjoy it, but you're investing in it and you want others to enjoy it too. So thank you. Help me do that. And there's also an option on Anchor FM, the hosting site for this podcast, to donate a little bit. Times are tough. We're getting out of it. We're kicking it like a motherfucker. And, that really would help. So I thank you. Subscribe, follow, share, turn bell notifications on. And I hope you all stay memeing, scheming. And with that, I'll leave you with this, a quote from a role model, icon himself, Johnny Carson. Oof, I was slurring my speech and not even drinking beer today. I bid you all a heartfelt good night. Take care, everyone.